Joshua Chamberlain, Civil War History, by Logan. The edge of the conflict swayed to and fro, with wild whirlpools and eddies. At times I saw around me more of the enemy than my own men, gaps opening, swallowing, closing again with a sharp convulsive energy. All around, a strange mingled roar. Lawrence Joshua Chamberlain was born on September 8, 1828. He had 5 siblings, which he was the oldest out of. Joshua grew up near Bangor, Maine. As time went on, he helped his father with the family farm. Chamberlain became a member of the Congregational Church in Beulah around the mid-1840s and attended Major Whiting's Military Academy in Ellsworth. Chamberlain then taught himself Greek so he could be admitted to Bowdoin's College in 1848. The studious Lawrence Chamberlain graduated from Bowdoin's College in 1852 when he was a student of Calvin Stowe. Joshua Chamberlain married his wife Fanny in 1855. Joshua had 5 children, but only 2 made it to adulthood. Chamberlain's family had served in the military ever since the Revolutionary War, so Joshua had a great appreciation for the military. But the college administrators didn't want to allow him to leave his studies, so he asked for and was granted a leave of absence to study abroad. Instead, he joined the army. On August 8, 1862, Joshua was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel of the 20th Maine Regiment under the command of Colonel Albert Ames. The 20th was assigned to the 3rd Brigade, 1st Division V Corps in the Union Army of the Potomac. The 20th Maine fought at the Battle of Fredericksburg, suffering relatively small numbers of casualties in the assaults of Marye's Heights, but were forced to spend a miserable night on the freezing battlefield among the many wounded from other regiments. The 20th missed the Battle of Chancellorsville in 1862 due to an outbreak of smallpox in their ranks, keeping them on guard duty in the rear. Chamberlain was promoted to colonel of the regiment in June 1863 upon the promotion of Ames. Chamberlain became most famous for his achievements during the Battle of Gettysburg. On July 2nd, the second day of the battle, Joshua's regiment had been ordered to occupy a critical land between 2 hills, Big and Little Round Top. Their mission was to hold the far left flank of the Union line at all costs. If they didn't, the entire Union position was in jeopardy. The Confederate soldiers knew that too. The South had attacked 6 different times, but were defeated each time. The many casualties and lack of ammunition meant that the regiment couldn't withstand 7th barrage, so Chamberlain ordered the 20th Maine Infantry to go on the offensive. With bayonets drawn, the soldiers charged down Little Round Top, startling the enemy forces so much that they were able to force the enemy back and capture hundreds. After this victory, Chamberlain was given the nickname Lion of Little Round Top. Prior to the battle, Chamberlain was quite ill, developing malaria and dysentery. Later, due to this sickness, he was taken off active duty until he recovered. In April of 1864, Chamberlain returned to the Army of the Potomac and was promoted to brigade commander shortly before the siege of Petersburg, and was given command of the 1st Brigade, 1st Division V Corps. In major action on June 18th, during the Second Battle of Petersburg, Chamberlain was shot through the right hip and groin, the bullet exiting his left hip. Despite the injury, Chamberlain withdrew his sword and stuck it into the ground in order to keep himself upright to dissuade the growing resolve for a retreat. He stood upright for several minutes until he collapsed and lay unconscious from blood loss. The wound was considered mortal by the division surgeon, who predicted he would perish. Chamberlain's incorrectly recorded death in battle was reported in Maine's newspaper, and Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant gave Chamberlain a battlefield promotion to the rank of Brigadier General after receiving an urgent recommendation on June 19th from Corps Commander Major General Governor K. Warren. He has been recommended for promotion for gallant and efficient conduct on previous occasions, and yesterday led his brigade against the enemy under most destructive fire. He expresses the wish that he may receive recognition of his services by promotion before he dies from the gratification of family and friends. Not expecting to live, Chamberlain displayed surprising will and courage. and with the support of his brother Tom, was back in command by November. Although many, including his wife Fanny, urged Chamberlain to resign, he was determined to serve through the end of the war. In early 1865, Chamberlain regained command of the 1st Brigade of the 1st Division of V Corps, and he continued to act with courage and resolve. On March 29, 1865, his brigade participated in a major skirmish on Quaker Road during Grant's final advance that would finish the war. Despite many men losing their lives, and another ruined, and nearly being captured, Chamberlain was successfully and brevetted to the rank of Major General by President Abraham Lincoln. Chamberlain gained the name Bloody Chamberlain at Quaker Road. Chamberlain kept a Bible and framed picture of his wife in his left front chest pocket. When a Confederate shot at Chamberlain, the bullet went through his horse neck, hit the picture frame, entered under Chamberlain's skin in the front of his chest, traveled along his body under the skin along the rib, and exited his back. To all observers, Union and Confederate, it appeared that he was shot through his chest. He continued to encourage his men to attack. On the morning of April 9, 1865, Chamberlain learned of the desire by General Robert E. Lee to surrender the Army of Northern Virginia when a Confederate staff officer approached him under the flag of truce. "Sir," he reported to Chamberlain, "I am from General Gordon. General Lee desires a cessation of hostilities until he can hear from General Grant as to the proposed surrender." The next day, Chamberlain was summoned to Union headquarters, where Major General Charles Griffin informed him that he had been selected to preside over the parade of Confederate infantry as part of their formal surrender at Appomattox Courthouse on April 12th. Chamberlain was thus responsible for one of the most poignant scenes of the American Civil War. As the Confederate soldiers marched down the road to surrender the arms and colors, Chamberlain, on his own initiative, ordered his men to come to attention and carry arms, as a show of respect. Chamberlain left the U.S. Army soon after the war ended, going back to his home state of Maine. Due to his immense popularity, he served as governor of Maine for 4 one-year terms. After he won the election as Republican, his victory in 1866 set the record for the most votes and the highest percentage for any Maine governor by that time. He would break his own record in 1866. During his time in office, he was attacked by those angered by his support for capital punishment and his refusal to create a special police force to enforce the prohibition of alcohol. After leaving political office, he returned to Bowdoin College. He was originally offered presidency of the new state university in Orono, but declined, hoping for the same position as his alma mater that came in 1871. He was appointed president of Bowdoin and remained in that position until 1883, but was forced to resign because of ill health from his war wounds. In 1905, Chamberlain became a founding member of Maine Institution for the Blind in Portland, now called the Iris Network. Chamberlain's wife herself was visually impaired, which led him to serve on the organization's first board of directors, beginning with his first election as governor of Maine and continuing to the end of his life. Chamberlain was active in the Grand Army of the Republic. Despite continual pain and discomfort from his wounds of 1864, he made many return visits to Gettysburg and delivered speeches at soldiers' reunions. He made his last known visit on May 16th and 17th, 1913, while involved in planning the 50th anniversary reunion. Because of those deteriorating health, he was unable to attend the reunion less than 2 months later. In 1914, Chamberlain died of his wounds from the war at the age of 85. He died alongside Dr. Albino O'Shaw of Portland, one of the 2 surgeons who had operated on him in Petersburg 50 years previously. Chamberlain was the last Civil War veteran to die as a result of wounds from the war, and is considered by some the last casualty of the war. Pass now quickly from each other's sight, but I know full well that where beyond these passing scenes you shall be, there will be heaven. Thank you for listening to the story of Joshua Chamberlain.